There are 6 phrases you can type into Claude that completely changes what it does for you. And none of them are a new prompt format. None of them are a plugin. None of them require any technical knowledge. They are 6 things you type and they change how every task starts, how Claude thinks before it acts, and how much you have to do yourself. I'm going to walk you through all 6 today, but I have to tell you up front, I'm saving the last one for the end of the video, because it's the most powerful phrase on the entire list, and it is the one most likely to quietly make things worse if you get this wrong. So stay for that one. Let's go. You can get free access to this guide that contains everything I'm sharing in this video by clicking the second link below in the video description. Power phrase number 1. Handle all of these at once using sub-agents for each. So I'm going to start a new task. I'm going to paste this in here. Here are 5 tasks. Handle all of these at once using sub-agents for each. And then I click send. Now here you see what just happened. Claude had started one sub-agent for each of these tasks in parallel. And that's why it could instantly give me 5 of the outputs at once. And this just took a few seconds. Now, if you would have done this like in a new chat, right? Separately, one after the other, one prompt after the other, it would have taken you a few minutes. So I would use this for any task that don't really depend on each other, that you can stop doing one after the other, get it all at once. Power phrase number 2. Give me a plan first and ask me to approve it before you start. Here's something that happens to everyone. You describe what you want and send it to Claude. It even asks you like a few questions, but then you get something that's going totally in the wrong direction because Claude had to make lots of decisions you never told it to make. So think about telling someone to write an email for you without giving it any context. You have to guess what tone of voice you want, what length you want, what style of format you want. So let's start a new task and do it properly. So this is the phrase that makes Claude show you its assumptions before making any decisions. I say, before you write anything, give me a plan for this email sequence. For each email, tell me what it covers, what the goal is, the key decisions you have to make. Then stop and ask me to approve the plan before writing a single word. Now I can read this plan in 30 seconds, and for each task it has to complete, it gives me its assumption, like what key decision it needs to make. Like, do you tease the next 4 emails? Or keep it short and get out of the way to get the guide? Or like, shares the origin story, key decision, how vulnerable do you go? Sharing your actual revenue numbers, build credibility. And I say, I don't want to share the revenue numbers, they're even wrong. So it's a wrong assumption right there. So don't share revenue numbers in email 2. Then here it teaches one concrete, immediately usable AI automation, something achievable. Which workflow needs to be generally useful to the solopreneur, but not technical. So I say yes, the Claude Cowork email automation reply workflow can be used for email 3. The biggest mistake, what is the actual belief to reframe? This needs to be accurate to your audience, not assume. Do you know from comment or reply what holds them back, right? I don't know how to code. I need to know how to code. It's also complicated for my business. Yeah, I mean, it already has some of the beliefs, right? For email, or the common objection is that, yeah, it's too complicated to set up an automation when people are not technical or get overwhelmed or scared when they see a terminal or code. Then email 5, key decisions are hard call to action. Here's the link, here's what's inside, right? I could say, well, I want to have for email 5, it's a 48-hour discount for 50%, so 97 instead of, actually it's not that, right? My template subscription is monthly, so the discount is actually 30% off. Normal price is $87 for every quarter for full access. And for the timing, well, I just leave it as it is. Pick your timing. And I can even adjust the structure, right? It has here my email structure, deliver first impression, then comes a story, quick win tutorial. I could change it if I wanted to, but for me, that's good enough. And I click send. So this is the prompt that does most of the work, the key decisions you'd have to make. Right? That's the phrase you want to include, because this forces Claude to tell you its assumptions before it executes your task. So you're reviewing its decisions, modifying it so it matches what you want. So you don't have to correct it afterwards all the time, prompting back and forth until it gets it right. No, you do it in the first attempt. Power phrase number 3, before you write anything, interview me. Now here's the real limitation you might have already noticed from the last phase. And the problem is Claude never asked me what I really want in these emails. So it never asked me how I really want to perform a certain task, what I want the output to look like, the result, right? Or what factors are critical that need to come from me, and it doesn't need to assume. And that's why I will submit this one. Before you write anything else, I would say writing any email, I want you to interview me first. Ask me one question at a time. What am I trying to create? Who is this specifically for and who's not for? What does success look like? What have I already tried that didn't work? Once you have everything you need, summarize it back to me as a plan and outline for each email, and then ask me to approve it before you write anything. So let's go through this. What are you trying to create with this email sequence? What is the goal? Well, I want to build trust, show my expertise, and make it very compelling case to join my AI systems library. And then I can even grab my offer, here my link to that. Now, if you don't know an answer to something, you just say, use your own judgment, and also make sure you actually read the website I just shared. Yes, it is good. Next question. What does success look like for the sequence? So this is a critical question. So whatever tasks you hand over to Claude, you wanted to get a clear picture of how does the output it generates need to look like so you're happy with the results. So for me, success for this sequence looks like, well, I get sales, right? I get as many sales as possible. So for that to happen, subject lines must be compelling to be opened. People must be compelled to open the next email they get. They must be written so that people read them and are not pushed off by too promotional email content, but feel they get value and build trust enough as well as urgency to buy the offer. Last question, right? If you've tried a task before, even on yourself or with Claude, and it didn't work, you can tell it why it flopped, why the result wasn't good. So for me, well, what have you tried with the email list that didn't work? Well, I'm not so sure yet, right? So I can say, yes, overly promotional emails didn't work as well, but also only content-based emails without any offer didn't work. So the best is a mix between both. However, the final email could be a direct call to action towards the offer, as it may expire the deadline of the discount. And there you have it, the plan for Claude to execute the task in a way so that you are happy with it and get the best quality output. Here I have my emails listed. I can say, yes, well, write them. Here I have a much better version of my emails. But it's still not good enough because one critical step is still missing. That's why we need phrase number 4, which is before you show me the result, reread it as my ideal reader. This is specifically critical for any content generation tasks or writing projects. Before you show me the final version, reread what you just wrote as my ideal reader. They are non-technical solopreneur who's seen a lot of content and is a little skeptical. Tell me where they lose interest. What questions go unanswered? What would make them stop reading and click away, right? Then give me the revised version that fixes those things. Well, it has found something like one issue in email 1, working with thousands of non-technical people. You have 600 library members, a skeptical reader who later sees that number feels lied to, right? Well, yeah, it's true, but it made it up, right? It's true. I had like 600 customers for this library. Yeah, that's true. But working with thousands of non-technical people, that's right. It's not fully true, but also not fully a lie, because I have thousands of people on my email list, right, that have used automation resources from me. The next email, the 1,000 hours line backfires. You're trying to establish credibility. So it is hard. Even the guy selling this needed 1,000 hours. Okay, it could be taken as a disadvantage, right? And it goes on like this, and then it fixes those issues and gives me the final draft with all these issues that it initially didn't notice. Now it fixed it and made my content much better. So for emails, reread this as someone who deletes most of what hits the inbox within 5 seconds. What gets this one deleted? For video scripts, reread this as a viewer who's tired of AI hype. Where do I check out? For sales pages, reread this as someone who's been burned by a product promise before. What gives them a reason to leave and not buy? Power phrase number 5. Based on this conversation, build me a skill. So here is something that will happen within a week of you using these power phrases. You will sit down, start a new project, maybe a different topic, different type of content, different type of tasks. And you think, okay, I've done this thing already before, ran through this process, and I just have to go through all these steps and all these prompts again. But before you try to paste all these phrases again, well, it's much easier to just say, based on this conversation, build me a skill package, what we just did, the interview, the process, the planning, the writing, the self-check, into a set of reusable instructions that Claude can follow automatically. The next time I need to do the same type of task. What Claude just made me is a reusable workflow. So the next time I need to write an email sequence, or maybe plan a video, create some social media post for a specific platform, like whatever you applied this process on, you don't start from scratch. You run the skill and it automatically follows the same flow, right? Now here's what makes this skill update and improve over time. It's a phrase like this, right? When you run it a few times, you notice a few issues. Like, based on these issues I ran into, update the skill so it doesn't make the mistake again. So an issue for me, right, is, well, I don't like it when emails have this character, right? So issue, never use in any email. Next is like, I don't like it when it's too cluttered, right? I would say use only one sentence per line. So whenever a sentence ends with like a period, start a new line. That's just formatting for me, right? That I like to improve. And if you keep doing this, updating the skills, feeding it back the issues you found and updating it, and you end up with a skill and a process that's so optimized, it gets you the right output every time. And it keeps saving you more and more time. Like, it takes less time to create it. It's faster to get the job done. And while the quality gets better. Power phrase number 6, set this up to run automatically. So before you run this phrase, you need to run 2 quick checks first. Does evaluating this output require your judgment? Specific writing the final version of a launch email? Yes, it needs my judgment. Pulling your weekly competitor statistics to a summary? No, that's just data. Check number 2, if the output came back at 80% of what you'd produce yourself, would you be comfortable with it going out? For a YouTube video description here, probably yes. For an email to my whole list of contacts, probably not. So on my weekly email sequence, I wouldn't really run it automatically, right? I could run an automatic check of the performance of it, but I want to start a new task. So, and schedule something like that. And even that, I would run it first a few times manually, use the prompts we have used to optimize my output, like the questions. So I would say, set this up to run every Monday at 9 a.m. Check the view counts on the last 10 videos from my 5 competitor channels and send me a summary of any video that grew usually fast this week. So in the process, I need to have specified what are the competitor channels I want to track, right? What are the specific metrics I want to know? And even here, it asks me for a few questions already, right? So I have a vidIQ, that's a custom connector. I can connect it to a YouTube analytics tool. I will just select that. Now this task passes both checks. It doesn't require my judgment. It's just pulling numbers, right? And from analytics. And I'm not making my final decision on this video research alone. I click on schedule task and there it's done. So out of all the 6 phrases, this is the one that I would be the most deliberate about. The other 5 will make your work better and faster. This one can quietly make your work worse if you apply it to the wrong tasks or tasks you have not optimized with the previous 5 power phrases before. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so don't miss any of my new videos where I cover more useful tips, workflows, and automations